And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to episode number 7 of the Moving Forward Leadership Podcast. I'm your host and founder, Scott McCarthy, and today we are going to talk about goal setting. If this is your first time listening into the Moving Forward Leadership Podcast, and I'd like to welcome you to a podcast which is all about making yourself and your business better with active leadership. Why am I talking about goal setting today? Well, first off, keep in mind, we're just days away from 2017. 2016 has come and gone, for the best part. I hope that 2016 was a great year for you folks out there. If it wasn't, then all the reason better to listen to this podcast today and make 2017 the best year yet. As I've alluded to, a lot of people this time of year reflect back on previous year. So a lot of reflections going on right now about 2016 and whether or not it was a great year or not. So if you haven't done so yet, your challenge from me today or tonight or tomorrow, whenever you get a chance, sit back and reflect upon your year 2016. Think about it in personal tense, personally, your family, your occupation, your business, whatever you're into. Think about it, reflect upon it, and ask yourself, did you achieve what you set out to achieve this year? If you did, congratulations. A lot of people don't get there. If you didn't, though, what were the barriers that got in your way from achieving your goals? And sometimes they're not your fault. Sometimes there's barriers that pop up and you can't do anything about them, and it basically keeps you from achieving your goals. So take the time, think about it, reflect about 2016, and then think about what you want to achieve in 2017. This time of year, a lot of people basically get into what I like to call the New Year's resolution fad. Going to go on a little bit of rant here, ladies and gentlemen, which is not like me, but here we go regardless. I'm a huge not fan of New Year's resolutions. I despise them. I hate them. For the sheer fact, if you need to wait for January 1st to come to start a new goal, you have basically already failed. Let me say that again. If you need to wait for January 1st to come, you have already failed. There is no time like today. Today is the day in which you need to start working at your goals. All right? It's not January 1st. So this is the reason why I'm not a big fan of New Year's resolutions. I like the ideology behind New Year's resolutions. I think it's great. Making yourself better is absolutely awesome. Everybody should be doing it all the time. However, waiting for an arbitrary date on the calendar to start doing it is absolutely ludicrous and a failure in my mind. So get in line now and get ready right now to start moving forward if you have something that you want to be better at. We're going to talk about how we're going to basically talk about today how to set your goals and how you achieve them and what to do afterwards, okay? So first thing you need to think about when you're setting goals for the upcoming year or whatever, or maybe it's the next few years or whatever, is you need to be realistic. And everybody's definition of realistic is different. My definition of a realistic goal is definitely different than yours. And that's not for better, that's not for worse, it's just how things are, okay? So keep that in mind. So when you're going through your goal setting the whole time, you have to think and ask yourself each step of this process, is this realistic for me or for my team or for my family or for my company, whatever, okay? So keep that in mind. The second thing which you need to look at is the timeline that you want to achieve your goal. How far out are you willing to set for your goal to be achieved. This is pretty critical. You have, and again, like I said, you have to make sure it's realistic. So let's use an example here. If you have the goal to run a full marathon, personally, I think you're crazy. I'm not a runner. All joking. That was just a joke. But all joking aside, if you plan on running a marathon and you haven't run a kilometer in your life, you've never ran before, you might not expect to achieve that timeline next month. All right. So keep that in mind. Whereas people who've been running 10Ks and 20Ks or half marathons may be able to go ahead and run an actual full marathon next month. This is what I'm talking about when I say everybody's definition of being realistic is different, right? It's all based off of your individual parameters. So look at it timeline. How long is realistic? Is it realistic for you to achieve this goal? Another example, let's say you want to write a book. Is it realistic for a mother of 5, a single mom of 5 children, to write a book within a year compared to someone who's single? I would say probably not. So again, individual circumstances will drive the timelines, okay, and the realism for them. So the next step you need to look at when you're doing goal setting is, are there sub goals within your main goal? And this is where a lot of people fail, is because they don't realize that there are actual smaller goals within their main goal which they can achieve. And breaking your main goal down to sub goals has a bunch of different benefits. First off, it makes it seem less difficult to achieve. Sometimes, for example, if you want to run that marathon and you never run, that may seem a very daunting goal. However, if you look at it, okay, the first sub goal is to basically run a 5K. That's very achievable. And once you've done a 5K, then a 8K isn't so bad. And then a 10K isn't so bad. And from a 10, a lot of people are able to do a half marathon. And once you do a half marathon, then you know what? You start training a bit more, and then you can go ahead and run for that full marathon. See, you're basically eating the elephant one bite at a time when you set sub goals. Okay, sub goals actually even allow you to track your progress as you go on through. And we'll talk about that a little bit later as well. So you've got your timeline. You've set a bunch of different sub goals. Okay. Now, while you're going through the process and you're working to achieve the goal and your sub goals, you need to continually reevaluate your goals. All right. And there's 2 main times when you reevaluate. The first one is regular intervals. All right. That may be weekly, it may be monthly, it may be yearly, whatever. But regularly reevaluate them. Okay. Make sure that everything is still particular, that you still are ambitious to achieve that goal. There's something behind the goal which is going to make life better for you or make you happier or whatever. Okay. Regular intervals also allow you to track your progress. How well are you doing in getting towards achieving your goal? All right. So keep that in mind and set that and put it in your calendar. Okay. So that you don't push it off or you don't forget about it. Go ahead, put in your calendar in your phone, and then get the reminder, hey, I need to reevaluate my goals, whatever that timeline is. Whether it's daily, weekly, monthly, yearly, doesn't matter. Really, it all depends on you and your goal. The other time when you need to reevaluate your goal is when the situation has changed. Okay, and let's go back to that whole running and marathon runner example. So let's say you're working, you plan on within 1 year running a full marathon, even though you've never ran a day in your life prior to starting off. Great. You're doing great progress. You've done a 5K, painless per se. You were able to work up to it. 10K was tough, but you're there. And then suddenly you have an accident. and you injure your back and you're laid up for 3 months. Is it realistic now for you to say, I still want to achieve that goal within the year? Some may say no, some may say yes. It all depends on you. But the situation has changed. So you need to reevaluate to make sure everything is still realistic and still works for the goal that you have in mind. All right. So keep that in mind. And situations change more often than not. And a lot of people are unable to basically deal with these changes in situation, and therefore they fail at achieving their goals. So those are a few simple things. Keep in mind, keep it realistic, keep a timeline, break it down into smaller chunks, and then continually reevaluate either on regular intervals or when the situation changes. So you reached your goal. So let's say you've gone ahead and you've run your marathon in 1 year. You got to maintain that goal. You can't just say, sweet, I'm here and I'm going to go back to the way I was before. Because then why have you done all this work, all this time, and getting yourself to where you want it to be in the first place? And I've seen this happen before. People just reach their goal and then they just let it all go and they're like, hey, I did it, cool. And then act as if they've done nothing over this past set of time and basically let themselves go or let whatever they work for go. And it's absolutely ludicrous in my mind. So maintenance of the goal is crucial. You need to continually maintain that goal so that you've not pushed it out the door for nothing. But once you do reach your goal, you got to ask yourself one question. What's next? Right? Because the status quo is never an option. You need to keep pushing forward. Remember, this podcast is all about making yourself better. Keep moving forward. Okay? Keep trying, keep pushing, keep achieving. So once you reach that goal, what's next? All right. So back to my marathon runner. They done a marathon. Maybe they want to do an ultra marathon. Or maybe they want to change something and go to triathlons, for example. Or they just want to change things completely. The point is, there has to be something next. Something for you to focus your attention on. All right? There has to be a new goal because then, and something you use the old goal for, okay? Because again, you don't want to spend all this time on achieving something, working so hard at it, just to turn around and basically throw it out the window, all for nothing. So keep that in mind. So just to recap again, make sure your goals are realistic. Make sure you have a timeline. Make sure you break them down to sub goals. Reevaluate them on a regular basis or when situations changed. Maintain the goal once you get there. And then, what is next? So here's a couple other tidbits of advice, I would say, for goals and reaching your goals. The first off, which a lot of people, including myself, recommend is writing your goals down. A lot of people say it helps them best if they see it there, they have a piece of paper, and they have it at their desk, or they have it when they wake up in the bathroom, wherever. Whatever works best for you, okay? But write that goal down so that you can see it basically every day and keep it in your mind. Out of sight, out of mind. Oh, all right, that works basically in inverse. In sight and in mind. The next tidbit of advice for goals is keep a journal. Keep a log on how you're doing, daily log or weekly log or something. It could be basically a fitness tracker if back to a runner scenario, or a diary or whatever. But keep a log. So and the key thing for the log is not only to help you track your progress, but when it gets tough, then you can go back to your log and basically relook at everything that you've done and look at how far you've come thus far, right? It could be a real great motivator on in achieving your goal and getting you on track when, not if, but when you get off track. Because we all do get off track of our goals, no doubt. Very few people will not get off track of their goals. It takes a very certain mindset, okay, to keep on it and never come off track. All right, so keep that in mind. And the final tidbit of advice for you for goal setting is basically have a buddy, a goal buddy. Let your family know and let your friends know whatever your goal is. Let your business partners know, your subordinates, whoever. Okay, let them know that, hey, this is my goal. I need everyone to be on board with me for this and help me out, so that if you see me coming off track, you can get me on track, or for someone to come along the journey with you. It's always better with a friend, so just keep that in mind. Having someone with you will keep you accountable and then also help you keep them accountable. And basically, you build a team, and a team is always more powerful than an individual, regardless of the scenario. So keep that in mind. So again, write your goals down so that you see them. Keep a diary, keep a journal, a log of some sort, and as well, bring a friend. Bring a friend for the journey, and this will help you the whole way. So that basically wraps up today's episode, ladies and gentlemen. Again, if it's your first time listening to the podcast, I definitely try to keep them around the 20-ish minute mark, just because I think it definitely bodes well for everybody out there listening. You don't necessarily need to hear me drain on and on about the various topics. Keep it short and concise, right? I'm here to give you practical tidbits on helping you with leadership in your daily life. Couple few points before I cap it off for today. Please feel free to leave me a review on iTunes or Google Play Music or wherever, Shout Engine, wherever you're listening to this podcast. And keep in mind, I love your questions. I've answered a number of them on air, and actually this week I'm not answering any on air because I went and messaged those people directly with questions and my answers to them. So keep that in mind. You can email them in at scott@movingforwardleadership.com, or you can track me down on Twitter at MFL, as in Moving Forward Leadership _podcast. Follow me, shoot me a message, direct message there, or tweet me, and I'll be glad to answer your questions. And finally, I always would love to hear your suggestions out there, okay? I got a couple in the queue. They are coming, ladies and gentlemen. Those who have fired me suggestions on various topics. For example, one person wants to know how to deal with jerks in the workplace. So I'll be talking probably next, actually. Maybe I'll queue that one up next. And always love to hear your suggestions on various topics and so on and so forth. Currently working on bringing in some guests. So hopefully within the next few weeks, few episodes or so, I'll have my first guest in on the show, and definitely looking forward to it. I got a good group of leadership experts that I converse with on a pretty regular basis, and these gentlemen have a lot of great experience and a lot of great ideas, and we all see eye to eye on leadership. So looking forward to that. If I don't do another episode prior to the new year, which I don't plan on, I definitely wish everybody a happy new year. Hope your Christmas was awesome, filled with lots of friends, family, and of course, good turkey. If Christianity is not your thing and you're Jewish, happy Hanukkah to all my Jewish friends out there as well, which I definitely do have some of. And then, regardless of religion, festive holidays, festive season, or however you want to say it. Take care, ladies and gentlemen, and keep in mind. Keep trying, keep pushing, and keep achieving. Take care.